Hello, colleagues. Hello, colleagues.
Afternoon, sir.
Afternoon, Michelle. How are you?
Afternoon, sir. I'm fine.
Afternoon, guys. Hope you guys are well. Um, uh, um, Before we go on with today's class, I just wanted to confirm a few things. Sorry, just to get straight to the point. I've been trying to connect for the past 20 minutes or so, and then I don't know why I had to utilize another method for me to connect. But anyway, since we're here, now, before we go further, I just wanted to confirm, did you guys manage to upload your work? Because Mr. Spooner deleted everything. So did you guys manage to upload your work? Because I need to check and see who uploaded and who didn't. And for those that are experiencing any trouble, we need to see, because we're going to take very drastic measures against those that did not submit anything, of which I'm pretty sure that you guys know that you are supposed to comply for you to be able to proceed in this particular program. You're supposed to comply, because otherwise, if you're not complying, then there's no point in us doing anything. So did you guys manage to upload? And for those that didn't upload, why and when are we going to upload?
On my side, sir, I didn't know that everything was taken down yet, so I'll upload today.
You didn't attend the lesson yesterday?
You said, again, yesterday you said you'll take everything down here today, but then you didn't tell us that you did actually take it down.
Oh,
so
okay. Okay, my bad on that. Because okay, I didn't announce as to when. Okay, cool. I hear you. Spongile? We can't hear you, Spongile. We can't hear you.
So can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Yes, I was gonna say the same thing as Tepo.
Okay.
Like you didn't say that when Mr. Spanel is gonna take all the assessments off so that we can be able to resubmit again.
Okay. All right.
Yes.
You finished? And then you guys can do that today. Like as I said, that today. Yeah. So you guys can do that today. So starting from whenever the class finishes, so you guys have to do that. I'll be checking tomorrow early in the morning to see who submitted and who didn't. And please, guys, make sure that your work has been submitted and in time, so that Mr. Ansemble can start doing his work. Because now he can't be downloading work for certain learners, and while his other learners are not doing their work. So please make sure that you do that today.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Spongile. I see another hand from Tsepo.
I wanted to ask so that he took everything down, not formatives and summative only.
Yeah, like he had to take everything down, because now we noticed that other people were not even uploading anything. Other people didn't have anything. So we just want to see from like from a fresh perspective, like um, who has submitted and who isn't. But anyway, I'm not so sure if he took everything, because I think there's one or two things that were left. I think projects. I saw that he left projects, and then the projects that there's projects that he left. So I'm pretty sure most of your projects are left. And then unless if you had a special arrangement with him, because the thing that we're mostly interested in is are those two aspects, the formative and the summative. So the formative and summative are definitely out. So you need to re-upload them, those two. And then the rest of the stuff, I'm pretty sure he left. He didn't remove that. Like your logbooks and things like that. So therefore, Pascalina, so you are getting the go ahead from me, from my end, that you guys should upload today. So which means you have today until midnight, unless if there is a special request, then we can work on that particular request. Matsome, did you finally find your items?
Yes, I got them.
Okay, cool. So unless if you've got a special request, and then we can do that. And I'm looking for someone. Andile, are you here today? Andile, I saw your name popping up somewhere, but you're quiet. I need to ask a certain question from you. And since Andile is not responding, Lapange Kanya.
Yes, Mr.
How are you, Lapange?
Mr. TC.
I'm good. I'm good. Please, like I noticed that there's some stuff that is missing from your side. Can you please upload everything, including your logbooks, ne?
Okay, Mr. TC, I'll do that today.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
That applies to everyone, guys, ne? So make sure that even your logbooks are up to date and everything, because they'll be checking all those things. So make sure that everything is there, like your logbooks are there, your formative, your summative, your formative, your summative, everything has been uploaded. And then, yeah. And Nomfundo, you're saying you missed yesterday's lesson, so you don't know the documents were deleted and stuff. Yeah, the documents were removed, Nomfundo, for the assessor needed some specific information. So if you missed yesterday's lesson, I hope your friends will bring you up to speed as to what you missed, because there is some information
Yes, sir.
or they've brought you up to speed.
Yes, I got the message. I'm okay
Oh.
now. I'll resubmit.
Okay, and the information that you have to fill from Mr. Assessor, do you have that information, like his assessor number,
I
his
have
name?
it. They gave me.
Sorry, they gave you. Okay, cool.
Yes, sir.
All right. Why did you miss class yesterday?
No, sir, I was in class. The network was troubling me. When the assessor was here, I was also here, but it will kick me out and I'll come back. So that's why I'm saying I missed the message that the documents will be sorted. But everything, I think I was sorted because I saw everything, even the signature. So everything was sorted. I only think I didn't add email ka assessor and the numbers.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yes,
Cool.
sir.
Okay, cool. No funda. Thokozile, yeah. If your logbooks are not uploaded, yes, please upload them. But if you have already uploaded your logbooks, then it's fine. Because as noticed, there's some people that don't have their logbooks uploaded. So please update your logbooks. And then for those that have everything in order, it's fine. You don't need to resubmit your logbook. So if your logbook was submitted, then it's okay. But if your logbooks are not, and you know that you haven't submitted your logbooks, please do so. With like utmost important, like do so, please. It's very important. Okay, so now, so guys, we've got a few amendments in terms of our project. We've got a few amendments in terms of our project, but I think this will do good because now our projects now going to be real life, like real life scenarios. So now this is what's going to happen in terms of your project, like the project for the end of the year. So you're going to work on certain aspects. So the end goal is basically to develop a website that is fully functional. That is the end goal. So which means your final project is for you to develop a website that is fully functional. And now that website that you're going to develop is going to incorporate all the practices that you have literally covered. So this is what's going to happen. We are going to be making use of the languages HTML. Let me just type them there. HTML. We are going to use. Okay, let me do this. Okay, I just pasted the item that I actually typed. Okay, check your chat. So now I said that this qualification includes subjects in programming languages such as HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and SQL. So you have to know that, as well as an in-depth instruction on database management, we know that, and then web server administration, we'll talk about that, and then software architecture. So now, which means now we're making one slight change in terms of our working. Now, I'm going to simplify things a little bit for you guys. So instead of us working with Java, we're going to work with this. We're going to work with Python and Django. That's what we'll be working with. So, and now the reason is it simultaneously integrates your website development, and which means basically like the same stuff that I was talking about, front end and back end. Back end. So all of this stuff is covered. So now this is what constitutes of the front end. So front end is basically HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. And then the back end is going to be JavaScript, SQL, and Python. That is the back end. So which means your databases, web server administration, software architecture, all of those things are part of the back end. So that is how we're doing. So for now, we're looking at HTML and CSS. So which means the project that I gave you guys, what I actually gave you guys is basically HTML and CSS. Those are the two languages that you'll be making use for your portfolio, for that website interface that I said you guys should create. So you'll be making more use of HTML and CSS. And then, but by the time when the course finishes, you'll be fluent in like HTML and CSS, like they're not really much because you have done it before, but we're going just to upscale there. But you have to be fluent at the end of the day in Java and SQL, of which JavaScript, which is the Java that you talk about. This is JavaScript. JavaScript is a language that basically operates as a front end and a back end language. And it's a very, very useful language there. So which means because of that, and then you'll be touching a little bit on PHP also as well. But yeah, so this is what we'll be looking at. So when it comes to you doing your research, when it comes to your programming, this is what we'll be looking at finalized. And then which means, hence, when I'm saying that your final project there, final project, thing is, I need to send you guys my my entire structured syllabus, because I was working on a proper structured syllabus that has got like a timeline on what we need to do when and until the end. So this is how we'll be working. We'll be working there. So as I said, that your final part here is a full functional website. A full functional business website. So that is the final project there. So do you have any questions before we proceed related to this? Any queries? Anyone wants to complain? Anyone wants to throw a tantrum? Anyone wants to beat me up? Yes, Wesley. Wesley? I can't hear you, man.
So is it gonna be a personal website or what?
No, it's not going to be a personal website. Full functional business website, and I'm going to tell you what kind of a business that you guys will be working on. Or should I just talk about it now?
You may. So.
Oh, okay. I saw another end from Busi. Busi, are you gone?
No, sir, I was trying to ask if you are whether you are sharing a screen or not.
No, not yet. I'm not sharing a screen. I'm just typing on the chats here.
All right, sir. I thought you were sharing a screen. Thank you.
Okay, Busi. Another head from Atome.
Oh, so I wanted to ask now. The only thing that you're doing is the formative and summative. Then the website that you said we should create for ourselves.
Yeah. So for now, isn't it? You've got that submission for the formative from because that's just a submission because you have done the formative already and the summative, isn't it? And then at the same time, you are currently already like we have started this current module that we're doing, and we have covered a bunch of topics there. And then there's also a summative and like a formative based on those. Then there you can be doing that. You can be doing those formatives there, like according to your pace. I'm not going to tell you how to actually do your things, but at the end, like by the 25th, I need the formative in the summative submitted. So that is like I said that I'm going to give you a proper structure of when I expect my assignments to be submitted and stuff. I think it will be easier for me and for you guys to operate, at least if you know that the deadlines and things like that. So I think I should rather I already have a document that I have. I just need to send it for approval from the administration side. So the administrator and the managers, they need to look at that, and then from then they approve of that document. But it will assist you in terms of giving you an outline of what we need to cover, when we need to cover what. Also for you, just in case you decide to skip class and now you know exactly what you're supposed to cover and when you're supposed to cover that.
Oh, I wanted to know when is the website due?
The website is due on the, I say that, you mean your CV website, right?
Yes.
The CV website is due on Friday, the 30th of June.
Okay.
Yeah, that is quite simple. Yeah, but Tommy, it's quite simple.
Then so you said you'll prefer us on JavaScript and HTML.
Yeah, no, we're not using JavaScript for now. We're just using HTML and CSS for the website, just those two. And then JavaScript, we're going to join it sometime later because JavaScript is a little bit more complex compared to CSS and HTML. So with JavaScript, we'll incorporate JavaScript as we go.
So when we will be able to brief us with HTML and CSS?
From Monday. Monday, we're hitting HTML. For Monday and Tuesday, we're hitting HTML. And then Wednesday to Friday, then we'll be dealing with CSS.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, so which means, Friday is a holiday. Ne? So which means on the 12th to the 15th, the 12th and the 13th will be dealing with HTML. And then the 14th, the 15th, and the 19th will be dealing with CSS. And then from there, and then you guys have 2 weeks exactly for you guys to work on your project and submit it. So you have 2 weeks, which is more than enough.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you guys have done a bit of research. We have collected pictures and things like that. Like you have a basic outline of what. Like remember, I'm not saying that you're supposed to create something world class here. I need to see you applying what you have learned in class, in real life.
Yes, we did some research.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Okay. Thank you. See, like that's what I just needed. You guys doing a little bit of research, finding out what exactly that you need to do, and from there, and then you can simply apply whatever that you have learned and whatever that you have researched, then to build something basic. And you will see. I will also build my own in front of you. I'll build something in front of you just to show you the outline, something that will take 15 to 20 minutes. Do you see what I mean?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Thank you. So now let me move on then with this theory of ours so that we can finish up. So now, yesterday we stopped okay, I think this is where we stopped. Okay. We stopped here yesterday. Can you see this? This thing that I'm actually what you call this? Showing on the screen.
Yes, sir.
Unsolicited. Is it like some presentation or is the learner guide?
Presentation.
Oh, okay, perfect.
It's a presentation, sir.
Cool. So I want to be able to just toggle between the two like that, so that we can be able to follow between the two. Okay, so now we're here from yesterday. Yesterday, we last spoke about the intellectual property. So we're talking about intellectual property, and then we're talking about things like copywriting. We're talking about things like trademarking, cyber squatting, the things of patents and things like that. So one thing that I actually left out was this aspect that, guys, an idea that you have, any idea that you have is not yours until it is implemented. Hence, yesterday, I think Matome asked a question yesterday when you said, what happens if someone steals your pictures and uses them before you can literally, before you can protect them or copyright them? What do you do? That is his question there. Now, your answer here was simple. Is like, remember, if you haven't protected, if you haven't copyrighted them, there's nothing you can do. They're gone. They belong to that whoever the person used them at that particular time. But if you can prove that you had the pictures prior to that other person getting them, yes, and then you can actually go back and sue that person and say, okay, when you stole my idea, and this is what you did, and this is the proof that I have that I had this before you actually uploaded it. And then now another aspect of this is Now, what if it's an idea? If you have an idea, what do you do with that particular idea? What do you do with that particular idea? Can you patent? Can you patent an idea? That is a question. Can you patent an idea? Can you copyright it? Hello? Can you guys patent an idea? Can you copyright an idea? What do you think? Matome says no. What do you guys think? Matome, if I may ask why not? Why can't I copyright or patent an idea?
Sir?
Why can't I copyright or patent an idea? Tsepo?
I think you can. I'm not sure, but I heard about a story of a guy who, I'm not sure if it was from Mr. X or someone, but then of the guy who came with the idea, yeah, called back. So I heard the guy won the case now. That's just in his idea, but then I heard he won the case now, and they actually bring him for that idea, yeah, called back.
Okay. That's an interesting, because actually one of the things that I had in mind was actually that scenario there. The guy didn't win the case, Matome. I mean, Tsepo, like according to maybe him, you won the aspect that the company acknowledged that yes, you came up with a notion of which, because you are demanding compensation for that, we will compensate you. And then they said they're going to give him a certain amount of money, and the guy refused, and they're back now in court again. So the court case hasn't even finished, because they're back in court again, because now they're refusing to pay anymore, because the guy is saying the money they want to give him is too small. And then the company is like, no, but when I just came up with an idea, you didn't implement anything. So hence now, and another thing, the reason why they had to go to court and stuff was because that idea that the guy came up with wasn't copyrighted. It was his word against the company. It's just that the company agreed and said, no, okay, we acknowledge that you said it. But now imagine if the company wasn't as honest. Like, for instance, Mark Zuckerberg refused. Even up to today, Mark Zuckerberg refused. So now my question again is, can you patent an idea? The answer is no. You can never patent an idea, because an idea is an idea. It stays in your head. You can't patent an idea. But what you can patent, as I said before, that you can patent a prototype. Get that idea, make it a prototype, then you can patent, or you can copyright that. But whatever that is in your head, you cannot go and say, no, but I came up with this first. What if the other person came up with it? Also, the other person can say, no, but I thought about this 10 years ago. How are you going to say, no, but you are lying? You see that? Hence, any idea that has not been written down, that has not been noted down, that has not been implemented in some kind of way. Now, implementing an idea doesn't mean that you coding it. No, it just means you sitting down with a piece of paper and drawing the idea and making that plan actionable. So the fact that the plan is actionable, it means you've started to implement that particular idea. Does that make sense, Tsepo?
Yeah, it does make sense.
Okay, so now, on that note now, we come here. Oh yeah, now, what do you guys understand about Extensive Academy? I'm going to ask a couple of individuals this question. I'm going to direct it to individuals because I know like when I'm asking this question, a lot of you guys will keep quiet there. So what do you guys understand about extensive academy? What do you understand about this current course that you're actually doing? Because I'm going somewhere, especially towards this item that you're actually covering. So I need to know specific things. What do you guys understand about the course that you're doing, about extensive, about whoever your sponsor is? What do you understand about that? I'll start with you, Tsepo. Tsepo.
Repeat your question, sir.
What do you understand about extensive, about the course that you are doing, and about extensive, about the course that you're doing, and about your sponsor? What's a relationship, including you? Also put yourself in the same equation. So extensive, your sponsor, yourself.
Extensive, I think it's a school that offers different courses under a specific sponsor, which is RAIN. So RAIN is just there to help pay our, again, like normally in university or college, you have to pay fees, and then RAIN is there to make it, make things easier for us by also paying for the things that we use, and yeah, and I think they also pay the school extensive. So what I understand about IT system development is that I think it's a course where you learn how to program, and then how to create your own websites, and how to deal with people in case when you started a business, like this, you know.
Okay. And where do you feature in? Like, how do you feature in? What's your role in this?
Yeah, I think my role is just to actually attend all the classes and understand what's happening, how everything that we're learning. Yeah.
Is it?
So that we make use of it at the end of the day.
Okay, interesting take. Thank you, Tsepo. Sibongile, next. Same question.
Hello, sir.
Hi, Sibongile.
Can you repeat the same question, the question that you asked?
I said, what do you know about extensive, your sponsor, yourself, this course that you're doing? Like, how are they interlinked? What's the relationship, and what's your role in all this?
Okay, I think the Extensive Academy it provides students with training in computer, and then our sponsor, which is RAIN, then sponsors us, the students, with the laptops, of course with the money, the stipend that we get, and also the internet. And then yeah, I think that's that. And then we as students, we have to comply with being able to attend classes, and then with also we have to also pass the learnership as possible as we can. So yeah.
Okay.
Yes,
All right.
sir.
Thank you, Sibongile. Let me see who else. Next one here. Let me ask. Busi, if you're here, please answer the same question. What's the desire to keep quiet? Lerato?
Extensive is like the middleman. It provides it helps the sponsor teach learners skills that the sponsor wants them to learn.
Okay, that's it.
Yeah, somewhat.
Somewhat. Okay. And what's your role in this then?
My role is to use the resources I've been sponsored by RAIN and to learn the skills that they want to teach us, that we have to learn, and hopefully those skills will help us get like jobs.
Okay. So technically, from my understanding, you guys are all giving me basically the same answer, right? That's my understanding. So anyway, on that point, so of which you guys, in Lerato's words, somewhat, right? If I put it like that. So now, what happens is this. Now, it leaves me with one further question that I'll need to also ask and confirm. So now, if it's that case, then now, did you apply to RAIN or you were invited to the course? Did you apply or you were invited? Spongile, did you apply or you were invited? Andile?
Yes, sir.
I see your hand.
I want to answer your question in terms
Okay.
of why.
Okay.
Right. I applied to Extensive ICT Academy, and Extensive Academy is a training provider. So they partner with RAIN. Maybe I don't know how they do things. Maybe they look for sponsor from RAIN, then RAIN gave them sponsorship.
Okay. Okay. So you applied?
Yes.
Okay. What about you other guys? Okay. My understanding is most of you didn't apply. Busi?
So I also applied at Extensive, and then I got sent an email that said I was invited to a, what this is called.
For the learnership.
Yes, for the I forgot the names, but I got invited. Yes, that's basically what happened.
Okay. Okay. Perfect. No, because that's one thing that I just need to confirm with you guys, so that I understand a few things. Because the whole point of you doing all this, I need to see where you guys like are inclined in terms of because like there's a difference between someone who's invited and someone who actually applies. Because if you're applying, it shows that you've got some interest, and then if you're invited, sometimes it might show that maybe you're not interested in it, but you're just doing it because it benefits a certain aspect of you. So that's why I was just confirming that. But anyway, from as Busi and Andil are saying, then that most of you guys did actually apply. Yes, Busi.
The induction, sir. We got invited to the induction.
Okay, you got inducted. Okay.
Yes.
All right. So now, as I was saying that that most of you guys here, you know exactly the end goal. I'm pretty sure you did your research before you actually did an application, so that you know what exactly systems development is and things like that, and you know what's involved and everything else. And the reason why I'm going towards the point of legality and things like that, because we're still covering that legal part. So now you guys are going to be working on projects that you'll be working on. In those projects there, you are going to be submitting them to me. And I have to be looking at those projects. So now what happens when you see, let's say, me taking your project and then putting it on my GitHub and posing it as mine? What would you do?
On my side, it will depend on what you do with the project.
Okay. So I'm saying I'm posing it as mine. So I'm just taking it and then I'm posing it as mine.
Yeah, like I'm saying, it will depend. It might benefit you alone, or it benefits us as all, or like somehow. So it depends on that, according to me.
Okay, okay, I hear you. I hear you, but still doesn't answer my question. So what if it benefits me?
We take you to court.
Mangalis, you are a take me to court.
Then I have to take maybe legal action, sir.
It's a very expensive process, Mus.
Yeah, but if I have to, like, I will have to say.
Is it okay? Okay, so now one thing that you guys need to understand something there is do you know what a learnership is? Like I'm saying, Busi here says but extensive. This program that you guys are part of is part of what they call a learnership program. Do you know what a learnership program is? Of which that is correct. Like extensive, as much as it's an academy that provides training and stuff. The course that you guys are currently enrolled in is a learnership. Actually, it's a national certificate in it's a national certificate in what you call systems development, which is a learnership under extensive that you are partaking. As you say, that's sponsored by RAIN, but it's a learnership. So now, what is a learnership? What happens in a learnership? What happens in a learnership?
Like a learnership is a group of companies which like combine like sponsors, college, and a learner. So it's a program which like assist like young people to become like skillful or like learn to work, so that they can become employable. So there are sponsors behind them, like which are willing to help learn like those young individuals to complete the course.
Okay, I hear you. I saw a hand from Matome, and then I'll come to Mangaliso, and then I'll come to Andile.
Okay, so learnership, it's a way of giving unemployed learners experience and teaching them how to behave in a workplace while they are getting their qualification. I'm not sure if I'm making sense.
Okay. Now I hear you. I hear you. You making kind of sense, but okay, I will explain later. Like just to add on what we're saying. Was it Mangaliso and then Andile?
Oh yes, I think learnership is a it's a learning program that is like outcome based and probably aligned with the NQF standards. And yeah, of course, it has the support. What's this support? What's this? Like the sponsors. It has sponsorships whereby the sponsors they sponsor the stipend. So it's like a paid learning program kind of thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Andile?
I would say a learnership is a sponsored learning program that is designed for people with matric, especially from 18 to 35, which consists of both theoretical and practical learning. Then with practical learning, sometimes it depends if the sponsor wants to host their learners, like Rain wants to sponsor us, for example, wants to host us, or maybe the training provider looks the host for the learners, but it consists both theory and practice, 70-30.
70 in relation to who? Theory or practical?
Theory, according to my knowledge, theory should be 30% and 70% should be in practice.
Practical. Okay. All right. I hear you. Thank you for the input. Thank you for the input, guys. Also, I'm looking here at Busi and Samkelo. They're basically saying the same thing. I'm only going to quote the part that interests me the most, work-based. So both of them say the same thing, work-based learning. So basically, that is what a learnership is. A learnership is work-based learning. Simple like that. Like as Andile is saying there, that it is basically you doing more practical than theory. Yes, there's a lot of theory, but there's more practical. Hence, we call it work-based learning. So now, work-based learning is basically now coming back to Mangaliso when he's saying Mangaliso said he wants to sue me for using his stuff. Mangaliso, you cannot sue me for using your stuff because you are doing what we call work-based learning. So whatever that you are doing right now, you are under the employment of Extensive. Do you understand that? So because as much as this is a sponsored program, so technically you are under employment, hence the stipend that you get. You call it a stipend, but basically the company pays you. Whichever company is sponsoring you is actually paying you to do work. And what work are you doing? It is learning, which is work-based learning. You see that? So basically, you are not exactly studying, but you are working. But at the same time, only you are working, you're actually learning. I don't know if you guys understand that aspect there. So you are basically working and learning at the same time. Hence, that is why you have to put the skills that you're earning in class, you have to put them into practice and produce something. At the end of the day, when you leave Extensive, or if you decide to join Extensive, but whatever happens at the end of this course, you are going to have a portfolio of work that you say, I did such and such a work for Extensive. And then from there, and then you've got a certain portfolio on GitHub, then you are going to show people that, okay, this is the work that I did for Extensive. Do you understand that? Hence, at the same time, as I said, that legally you can't sue me, but at the same time, ethically, I cannot use any of your work to do whatever that I want to do. Do you understand?
That's cool.
Eh?
It's
Hello?
cool.
It's
I was
what?
saying it's cool, sir. All founded by the law.
Yeah, that's the law. That's not me. But anyway, as I'm saying that ethically, like remember, there is a very thin line between ethics and legality. There's a very thin line. Usually, anything that is unethical tends to be illegal at the same time. So, hence, as we're saying that, so there is no work that I can pass out as that you did as mine. I can never do that because I'm not allowed legally. Even the law will work against me. You understand? That is the ethics part. So anyway, that's what I was trying to to drive this conversation to. I was trying to drive this conversation to that aspect that your projects that you guys do. You are going to be doing these projects that you guys are doing, and then you're going to be passing them out, showing them to different people and stuff like that. And then some of those projects are going to be maybe adopted by other people. But now no one can adopt any of your project without saying, this is the work of Mangaliso. Mangaliso did this. You have to be acknowledged in that work. It's like when you are working even in a company, like right now, if let's say you decide to go and work for FNB, whatever work that you do there, as much as you're getting paid by FNB and everything, when FNB looks at their work, it's theirs because you're working under them, it's their work. But yet at the same time, when you leave FNB, you go to another company, you're going to say, I designed an ATM for FNB. But you do not take that ATM with you. You leave it at FNB, but you design the ATM at FNB. You see, so when the other company calls and says, Mangaliso said he designed an ATM, then FNB will say, yes, Mangaliso did design an ATM. Even though you're not going to take it with you. So that's what you're dealing with when you're talking about those legalities there. That is what I was trying to drive at. I hope this clarifies a few aspects there. So now, coming back here. Now, the next aspect here was dealing with, we spoke about opting in and out, and then we were dealing with email marketing. Now, under email marketing, there's what we call email spamming. Email spamming, this is basically sending unsolicited commercial email. And a lot of websites that people design, they actually do that a lot. They actually send a lot of illegal unsolicited email. So now make sure that if you design any website, do not do that. Do not make sure that your website does not send unsolicited emails, because that tends to be a problem later. You can have some other people suing you for that, saying no, but you are busy sending them nonsense, and they do not want you to be sending them all of those things there. And then then they're saying that what drives the UCE, which is unsolicited commercial emails. Many spammers are just trying to get people's financial information. So that is what a lot of people do, especially hackers. When they're trying to get information about certain people, they do this. They send a lot of unsolicited emails. Then that will be busy collecting information. So, but they only collect information if you open that email and start responding to it, or you start giving the information that the email is asking for. And then, so some of the things that you need to understand, there is what they call the anti-spam legislation. So do not spam people, and also protect your employees there. But the most important part here, because we are dealing with your business there, do not spam. Like, make sure that your business doesn't do that. Because now a lot of people, like as I said, that people like won't be amused. They do not like that. I personally do not like getting unnecessary emails, especially for something. So you need to give the people the option to opt in or to opt out of receiving any further message from you. So if ever you are going to be sending unsolicited emails, give the people that option there to opt in or to opt out, sorry. Give them that option to opt out so that they can say, nope, I do not want to receive these emails anymore. Give them that option there. So at the bottom of the email, there's supposed to be that link there that says unsubscribe. Give them that option. And then also, cannot make a charge on returned goods. You cannot charge people on returned goods. Like I've seen a lot of retailers doing that, especially online. They do that a lot. They charge people over returned goods, and like, no, because you are returning goods, we are going to charge you 10% of the price because you had received the goods. No, you can't do that. So any international regulation stipulates that online retailers cannot reclaim some of the purchase price of the goods, even if they are returned after a long time. You can't do that. You can't return, you can't charge people for goods that have been returned. And buyers can return goods and get a full refund in the first 1 to 2 weeks of ownership. And retailers are barred from imposing charges and penalties on people's returned goods. You say that the only charge that may be made to the consumer because of his exercise, his right of withdrawal is the direct cost of returning goods. Like for instance, if the goods have to have, let's say, a transport cost, for instance. So now that's the only charge that is actually permitted for transportation. But otherwise, you can't charge them anything else. You can't charge them for keeping your goods for 7 days. Say, nah, but this thing has been with you for 7 days, so I'm going to charge you a rent for each and every day that you've been that you've been with this, or that's where this has been in your house. See, that's why it's so tough to work with these online businesses there. And also, we spoke about the trademarking, trademark keyword online advertising. We spoke about this disability access. Now, it is illegal for websites to discriminate against disabled people. It is illegal to discriminate against anyone. So traditionally, whenever you design a website, do not actively discriminate. So now, when they're saying do not actively discriminate, like one thing that we know is that websites, they discriminate. Like it's almost impossible for you not to discriminate against anyone. It's almost impossible. Like let's face the truth. It's almost impossible. But what they're super saying is, do not actively do it. Like in plain sight, do not do it. Like you're right there, like no, like this shop does not cater to so and so. That's what they're simply saying there. Don't do that. But it's a business. You can do whatever that you want at the end of the day. But remember, the legality is there. And then one of the simplest texts can do what you can do if your website follows the most basic accessibility requirements. Now, here I'm talking about accessibility. Like if there's one thing that people tend to forget, I've noticed that a lot, especially even myself, when I'm creating a website, I always forget the accessibility part. Like now, accessibility deals with like, what if a person who's viewing your website is someone who is someone maybe who needs something to be read to them. So which means I need to put features in my website that are actually going to allow my website to be able to read the content to the person. Whoever is viewing the website at that particular is supposed to read. I'm supposed to do that. It is actually my duty to do that so that I can be able to access also the dynamic that is disabled to an extent. So now, but the problem is with that is it's a very expensive undertaking. It's a very expensive exercise. It's so expensive. So now, because of that, a lot of developers, they tend to ignore that. They'll be like, no, this one, it's not necessary. Because anyway, the people that will be viewing my website are people that can see. So basically, you are actively participating in discrimination, even though not overly so, not like in plain sight. That is like more like in hindsight, not really in plain sight, but it is there. So those are some of the things that you need to make sure. that whenever you're designing websites, they need to be catered for. Okay, so with that, we finished that other part there. So now, and then here we're looking at demonstrating an understanding of hosting arrangements. Now, how then do we host? Not just e-commerce websites, but all websites in general. How do we host the website? So now, tell me, have you guys ever, like you guys, I'm pretty sure you guys met a website when you're doing level 4. For those of you that did level 4, you met a simple website there. Am I right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So now, when you made that simple website, I don't know if this was touched with you. So did you get, like, at one point wonder why your website is not showing online? But you can view it on your computer, but on another computer you can't.
I think maybe it's because it's not registered.
It's not registered. Okay, what if you register a domain, let's say say www.mywebsite.co.za, but yet even if you have that and your website is still not showing? And your website is still not showing, what will the issue be?
It might be that,
Yes.
I think, are you saying if the website is not showing on the other computer, maybe
Yes.
the other computer doesn't have the browser?
Let's say the other computer has a browser and internet.
I don't know.
So now, on that note, each and every website that is hosted, each and every website that is created, you can create a website on your local computer here. But for that particular website to be visible on the internet, you need to be able to, one, register a domain where you're going to link that you're going to upload that website to. And then that domain usually is supposed to be linked to a service provider. That service provider has got something that they call a web server that allows for what they call hosting. So for you to be able to view a website in any other computer besides yourself, to be able to view that, which means that particular website has to be hosted. And then now, what is then hosting? That is what we're looking at here. So now, what is hosting now? So now, when it comes to hosting, a web hosting service is a type of internet hosting service that allows a web host, often an ISP. I'm pretty sure you guys remember what an ISP is. So it allows a web host, usually an ISP, to maintain client's website on its computers and provides related services. These services may include leasing of hard disk space, the disk space, maintenance of hardware and software, provision of backup and security, content integrity, credit card processing, email boxes, and high-speed internet connection. You see, like, that's what most of these ISPs provide. So now, for you to be able to have a website appear on the internet, you need to be able to host it with a web hosting service. And this web hosting service is a service that is only provided by most of these ISPs that we have. In South Africa, the most prevalent ISPs are companies like Webmail, AfriHost. There is also a company called domains.co.za. There's another company that I love, Absolute Hosting. And then there's Xnilo, You see, and then you've got these major companies that a lot of people use, like GoDaddy, and what Hetzner and things like that. So there are so many of these companies there. All of them, they provide these web hosting services. Nowadays, even Google also does it. Google and Amazon, they also do web hosting services. So now, what they simply do is you create an account with these guys. You pay a certain subscription amount because you have to pay a certain fee because remember, you're using their services. So now, it comes in two. If you can host on your computer, but the problem is you're not always connected to the internet. Sometimes sometimes there's load shedding and things like that. So what if someone wants to use your website and we've got load shedding, which means your server is down at a particular time? So hence these web hosting services, what they simply do is they give you that ability for you to take your website and upload it in their computers. There's hence the pathway says internet servers. So now you've got a web server that they have. That web server is a computer that they have that is always connected to the internet, that is always on, that never switches off. And then that particular computer then provides sort of a link now to the internet using your what you call this, the domain name, that www.yourcompany.co.za. So they link that to your web hosting service. So that now when I sit on a computer and then I type www.mycompany.co.za, then it opens the website for me. Which means what I do, I will design the website on my computer. After designing it on my computer, then I have to upload it to a web hosting service. But I have to pay a certain amount of money every month for me to make sure that my website is catered for. And also, now you notice that they also provide email boxes there. I'm pretty sure you have seen some of those personal email addresses, e.g. info@mycompany.co.za. And it usually goes hand in hand with that web hosting service. And then further, it says that possible service providers for hosting an e-commerce website. There are certain service providers that we have. So now, whenever you are choosing a hosting server, so there are certain things that you need to look at. One is you need to look at what type of an internet server do they use? Are they using a Microsoft server or are they using a Linux server? See, so a typical, most companies around the world, they're using Linux servers. Most of these web hosting companies, they use Linux servers. As much as it doesn't mean that whenever you're writing, you are supposed to write your website for a Linux. No, it simply means that most of these companies, they find Linux to be scalable because it's actually easier to use compared to these other major companies that we deal with here. And then a typical configuration for Linux server is the LAMP. Is a LAMP platform, Linux, Apache, MySQL, PHP, Perl, or Python. See, those are different platforms there. So now these are certain platforms that you actually use for you to be able to deal, especially with the back end part of your websites, especially the Python, Perl, or PHP there. And then the Apaches here, these are web servers. And then MySQL, this is a database. See, and then Linux is the operating system. So the operating system, Linux, then Apache there deals with the type of a server provider, and then MySQL deals with that your databases there, and then PHP, Perl, Python, this basically deals with the back end of your particular website there. So now, see, a customer can still choose from PHP, Perl, or Python, or they can also use ASP.NET. This ASP.NET is provided by Microsoft mostly. And then there's classic ASP. The web hosting packages, they often include a web content management system. E.g., the most common web content management system is something called Control Panel, CP. There's something called CP Control Panel that you use to manage websites. But I'm going to show you some of these practical examples on exactly what it is, how it works, and everything like that. Let me do this. Let me open. Okay, Wesley, I'll do that. So let me do this. I need to log in here. I hope I'll be able to log in. Oh, perfect. All right. Let me share my entire screen with you guys so that I go through this website. So there's a website that I'm actually hosting, and then I'm going to go through. Okay, there we go. Notice here, I've got this company that I have opened here. It says Absolute Hosting. I'm pretty sure you guys can see that. So in this company here, they provide hosting services. So for instance, if I'll come here, notice domain pricing. I'm clicking on that. Domain pricing, see, they've got these domains that they're selling. You've got .africa, you've got .co.za, which is 91 Rand per year. You've got .com, which is 317 Rand per year. .joburg, 239. .Cape Town 239, .net 382. See, like all these, and then there are many more of these domains that they are actually selling there. So now, when you're buying a domain, you are literally buying that dot something at the end. So you're not actually buying your name. For instance, if let's say you want to open a company called mycompany.co.za. So you're not buying mycompany.co.za, you're buying that .co.za, but you have to put my company as an identifier. That's what we have, mycompany.co.za. You see that? And then when you purchase this, your domain, you only purchase it for like once. You only purchase once a year, and then you do not pay a subscription afterwards. But then there are certain services. I'm going to come here on this part here. Other services there. Notice here, I'll go to where it says, okay, order new services, because I don't want to show like there. I've got my services that I have there, but I'll go to these other services there, and then it opens up. Notice here. You see, there's something called web hosting, which is here. Web hosting is where we actually host our websites. And then from there, and then you've got these other items that they have there. So now under web hosting, let me click on web hosting here. Okay, well, no, web hosting here, we've got your Windows servers that they have here. And then you notice here, 2 vCPUs, 65 gig SSD storage, 3 gig RAM, and then 500 gig traffic per month, soft cap, things like that. You notice, so what they're simply doing here is, this is what they are actually learning. This is what the ISP, because this is an ISP, this is what this particular ISP is actually selling to you. So they're saying that I am selling to you a dual core or 2 CPUs, and those 2 CPUs, they have a maximum space of 65 gig. And it's stored as SSD, which means it's fast. And then from there, you're going to have 3 gig RAM. That's what they're simply saying. You notice, and then there are many other services. You've got what they call WordPress hosting. You've got Windows SSD web hosting, and then you've got cPanel. This is what I was talking about, control panel, cPanel. Now, cPanel. If I click on cPanel here, this is one of the major hosting that you actually make use of. This one here, cPanel. So cPanel, and notice even the prices are not so bad. The prices there, but they escalate as you go down there, depending on the amount of space that you have and the items that you have there. You see, cPanel, it comes with free domain registration, annual billing there. And then it comes with a free .co.za domain name, and then it comes with what they call a cPanel control panel. Let me open my cPanel control panel so that you guys can see what we're talking about when we're talking about cPanel. When we talk about website management. So I'll come here where it says my services. And then these are the services that I have. These are some of the services that I've actually canceled. And then this is the one that I have cPanel SSD Platinum. And then I'm going to open it there. Now, when I open, notice here, this is where it puts me, which is basically my cPanel. So now, if I click on, okay, let me do this. Should I log in? Let's hope I still remember my login details, because I doubt I still remember my login details. Oh, I do. Okay, share this tab instead. Notice now, I'm in my cPanel here. So now cPanel, it gives me toolkits, gives me tools to manage my website. I've got a website here, it's called gas.co.za. This is a website that I have there. And then it is a directory, the directory here that contains my website there. So if I scroll down, I can literally see my email accounts that I've actually created. I can like manage my emails there. I'm not interested in the emails. I'm mostly interested in my website. So now in the website, notice I've got databases here. Databases, I've got my PHP, I've got SQL databases there. I can see all the databases that I have here. And then I can move down to metrics where I can view how much data I've used and things like that. Like moving down there to show you like all the bits of the things that that you can actually have as add-ins into your website. But now I'm coming here. You see Git version control, file manager, open file manager there. Share this tab instead. Notice here, this is basically my website. Each and every element of my website is being managed by the control panel, which is called the file manager. So now in this part here, you've noticed here, you've got everything that has to do with the website, which is basically translated under etc. And then you see that there's my website there under etc. And then you open there, there's stuff there. Under logs, you've got your website, your, what you call this? You've got your emails, which is Roundcube there. So now if I, like wherever you click here, it's basically going to show you your like different aspects of your website. All the different aspects of your website, this is where you're going to find them there. So basically this here is an example of what you call a file manager. This is exactly like an example of what you call a file manager in simpler terms. And this here is a portal. If I do this, it's basically a portal. So if I will share with you, so you see that it's a portal, this one here. Welcome to the Klein Austin High School e-portal and what. This is a portal there. That's what we basically have in that thing there. So now notice, so this here is basically your a file manager in simpler terms. This is what we call a file manager in simpler terms. So when you're talking websites, this is the stuff that you're talking about when they're talking about file management. So these are the companies that we use. Like this is one of the companies that you're actually using for us to do that, to do your file management. So do you have any question, especially regarding the stuff that we just touched on right now?
Yes, sir.
Yes, Troy.
Yes, I do have a question.
Yes,
okay.
Please shoot.
First question, is it possible to log into someone's, let me say,
cPanel?
How can I put it? Yes.
No.
Without their logins.
No, it's the encryption there is too. It's too much. Limited. Like they are very encrypted. Usually the password is 64 bits.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Follow-up question based on that.
Yes.
So, is it possible again to, let's say for instance, you are hosting for me and then someone can take down my, what you call,
your
IP address down? Yes, for instance.
the IP address of your website or your entire website?
The entire website. Let's just say the entire website.
The only person who can take down your website is someone who's got your login details to your control panel. Yeah, that's the only person who can take down your website. Anyone else cannot take down your website, unless if you stop paying for your monthly fee, then your website will be taken down. But otherwise, no one can take down your website as long as you are the only one who's got the details, or if that other person that owns your website doesn't. Yeah. So there is no way that anyone can literally take down your website unless they've got your details to your cPanel.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So if we are sharing, you and I, we are sharing, let's say we are sharing
login details.
Not the login details, but the SQL thing. We are sharing the same server, you and I. Like, let's say you are hosting for me on my behalf, like the way you are hosting for Glen Austin, and I get to say to you that may I use the server with you by you hosting for me, and in that regard, can I have access to your server?
Yes.
Obviously, with your credentials, obviously, that would be possible.
Yes, that's possible. You can borrow on your credentials. But now, if ever there is an issue, that other person cannot solve the issue because the hosting company will want to confirm with an ID number, and they want to speak to the original owner of the account. So if ever there is any issue, they are not going to help the other person unless you call the owner of the account.
Okay. So let's say you and Mr. Swanela, right? The two of you, right? So you're working at the back end. So regarding the database between us as colleagues and students, so is it possible that somewhere, somehow, the server might be interrupted or occur to certain errors, and you guys are unable to resolve the situation?
Technically, yeah, because like remember, I cannot. You cannot upload your website if your database is already not in. Because now, what these sites do? These websites here, they incorporate your website with MySQL. So now that MySQL or the PHP, I'm pretty sure you saw something that says PHP admin there. So that PHP admin absorbs your entire database into itself. So now, every time any query is being called, now you're no longer calling the database directly, but you're querying the database through PHP admin.
Are you illustrating by doing something? Because on my side you are not moving, or you're just explaining?
Let me do this. Let me show you from this angle. Okay, here. So now check here. So for instance, I'm scrolling down to PHP-MyAdmin. Then I'm going to click on this PHP-MyAdmin there. So now under PHP-MyAdmin, they'll just load it. Yeah, notice here. This is my database. My database has been moved from my app, as much as it is there in my app, but my database also exists here. So this is where I have notice here, I've got all my databases. If I click on this database here, the very top one, and then it shows me all the tables that are in this particular database, which I've got around 191 tables here in my database. So
on my side it's okay.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I'm sorry to say, but on my side it's not moving.
Now, now it's showing.
It's just showing the interface of a cPanel. Yeah.
Now it's showing the PHP admin. Can you see that?
No. It's just showing the cPanel, the tools, and perfect. Yeah. It just moved.
So now this here is a database. This here is a database. So now your database has got tables inside. Okay, let me do this. Let me move back so that you see. Okay, now let me do this. go home. And then see that where I'm clicking databases here at the very top. If I click here, databases, and then I've got the 3 databases that I have here. And then if I click on the top database there, that is where all the information is being held. Notice here, see, all the information is being held here. And it shows you here, like if you check here, there's 357 events. You move down, there's 3 events, there's 240 events. See, so it shows you that different types of information, because these are tables that hold different information in your database. So technically now, as I was saying, your database is no longer in the app. As much as it is there in the app, but your database gets absorbed by PHP admin. But now it's no longer like a normal, whenever they're calling the database, it's no longer called as the database, but it's called SQL. It uses SQL code for it to call it and everything. So for instance, if I say, I type my name and my login details, and then I say what, and then I type wrong login details. The query is going to run and check if that name and the password match. If they do not match, then it returns to me and tells me that your information is wrong. You see that? So that is not me searching through the database. That is SQL code searching through the database. So I know.
No, I do get it.
For now, it's a little bit too much to handle, but it's a topic that is coming, which this is the next topic that we'll be dealing with next, the databases and stuff.
No, it's not. Last year we did something typical to this.
So, yeah, actually you did. Yeah, I actually forgot.
Yeah, we did. Yeah. So it's more or less. Actually, it's what we did last year.
Yeah, it is what you did, guys, last year. So yeah. So you see now, so this is basically your, so now what cPanel does, cPanel absorbs the database that is on your app into itself so that it can use it as a query instead of using it, using normal database code, but now it changes to SQL code, which is querying. So hence, as I said, that one of the topics that we'll be covering is also MySQL. SQL there is one of the most fundamental aspects, you see, because your database should be able to access SQL code for it to be able to actually retain the information that it holds.
Okay, so are you saying to me, if I use the VisualBox and I have your cPanel server thingy, can't I access your database?
As in like my database way, the one that is stored on my local machine or the one that is stored on the web server?
Let's just say on the web.
The one stored on the web, you can't.
Okay.
Yeah, but you can access the one that is stored on my local machine. It's possible you can do that, but the one on the web server, because there's a lot going on. Because remember, as much as you have my login details to my cPanel, there's also separate login details to the web to the database. So technically, for you to access database, you need to go through 2 different verification levels.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Perfect. Thank you, sir.
Cool. Guys, are we on the same page, or it's a little bit too much to handle right now? But you guys did this last year, so I'm pretty sure you've got an inkling for those that were here for level 4. Boss.
We are with you, sir.
You're with me? Okay. All right. I hear you, Tumsani.
Still following, sir.
Eh?
We are still following.
Okay. So now, that is what I was showing you guys here is basically what they call cPanel. So cPanel is basically a website manager. That is what I can just simply call it. It's a website manager. It manages the website. So each and every aspect of your website is actually managed here. This is where you get all the information there, even including your what you call the licenses, the security licenses and things like that. You notice here also, if I'm scrolling down here, you notice I've got keys here that are validating, which means my website is auto-validated there also in terms of using its keys. The keys there, they're validating that particular website. So it means, yeah, I've got an SSL certificate, if I can just put it like that. See? So you can literally manage all aspects of your website here on your control panel. So that is why I was just showing you this control panel thing. So now, back on the thing here, on this module. So we're talking about, you see that a web content management system. cPanel is an example of a web content management system there. Excuse me. So now all the pictures, all the graphics, the words, the text, everything that I have on my website is actually stored in my cPanel. And then they're saying, what should be your primary concern when searching for e-commerce hosting? So whenever you are searching for a web host for your cPanel, the most important aspects here are supposed to be things like security. Special security should be the utmost should of utmost importance. Like how secure is the server that you want to use? How secure is the information that you're going to be saving inside that server there? So it is very imperative to ensure that any e-commerce hosting or any type of hosting chooses the maximum security options that are available. See, and then also there's something called uptime. Now, uptime is when you rely on clients' business to generate your income, to stay in business. It is important to make sure that your website is available to them as much as possible. Like you do not want a website, for instance, I was saying that we're in South Africa, and one thing that we always have a problem with is load shedding. So if you are hosting your own website in your own computer at home, every time whenever you get load shedding, which means also something happens, sometimes the cell phone towers are down, there's no internet, or internet is mighty slow. So now if your clients want to use your website at that time, it will cause frustration and a sense of unreliability. And then clients will be like, you know what? Almost every time I'm on this site, it doesn't work. So it's a waste of time. So I'll go and look for other sites. You see, so it's always up to you to make sure that the uptime for that particular server, rather have a server that has got an uptime of at least 90-something% than to have an uptime of 70%. That will kill your business, because 70% will translate, what if that 70% happens during prime time when people are supposed to be buying things or people are supposed to be viewing whatever that you have there? It becomes a problem later. Right. So now, and then this aspect there, and then also there's something called dedicated cloud and VPS. Guys, in this, we're living in a new world, which is the world of the cloud. Now, one thing that we know is whenever you're hosting, always go cloud. Cloud is the only way to go, and this is the best way to go. Whether you are doing a small business or whatever, they're saying that here, while shared hosting may be sufficient for a startup business, as your business grows, the popularity of your site increases. Like for instance here, I was showing you this website that I'm hosting there. I'm hosting it with a company called Absolute Hosting, and the hosting package that I have is actually what they call a shared hosting package. It's a shared hosting package. But now, if I have to deal with a bigger institution, like for instance, a university, I will not be using shared hosting, because shared hosting, the maximum amount of storage that they can give you is 20 gig. So now, if I'm dealing with a university, 20 gig I can be using that in a day. So which means I can't be using that. I have to use another hosting company, Amazon, because they have cloud hosting, which is easy to scale. So the reason why we're talking about that is because of this part here, scalability and accessibility. Now, Amazon offers this scalability and like when you're talking about scalability, you're talking about the ability for the cloud storage to expand. For instance, my data is 20 gig in 1 month. The following month, my data is 600 gig. The following month, my data drops to 5 gig and stuff. So I'm supposed to be able to have scalable options so that I pay per amount of space that I use than for me to pay for 20 gig throughout while my data fluctuates like that. So when you grow, also your system has to grow. If you outgrow a shared environment, you need to move your server and then you may experience downtime. See, we do not want, this is one thing that you always, as businesses, you always try to avoid downtime. Especially if you're running a website, downtime is one thing that should be avoided at all times. And then also shopping carts. Some websites, they come with their own shopping carts there. See, so it's always best. I mean, some hosting sites, they come with shopping carts. So always best to look out for those. Those are the ones that are actually better. So now check if is it compatible with the shopping cart that you actually have. Also payment systems. Almost all websites are compatible with the main payment gateways to accept e.g. PayPal and Magic credit cards. But now we always have a problem, especially in this country here. But now, at least now we've got PayFast. Before PayFast, there was an issue, especially when it came to online paying. So now you always had to use Stripe or PayPal, which were companies from overseas there, which like it takes time for things to happen there. See, so all of those things they played a very, very, very crucial role. They play a very crucial role when it comes to you choosing your hosting provider there or your hosting service there. And then also there's contractual agreements for hosting websites. There are certain contractual agreements there. A contractual agreement is basically a legal agreement between a web host and its customer, you and the web host, you and AfriHost, you and Hetzner, you and Absolute Hosting them. A hosting agreement should cover not just hosting services, but all the auxiliary services that the hosting thing provides, e.g. control panels, see what I was showing you, email services, like that. And then domain name services, I showed you this already. And then SSL certificates, and I showed you this already. See that? So when it comes to a hosting agreement, and then your hosting agreement should cover all of these things there. Of which, as I said, that I showed you when I was going through my my cPanel, all of those things are included there. So when I signed or when I agreed to the terms and conditions of me purchasing the service that I had, all of these things were part of the package. So now, where a host is reselling the hosting service of another company, for instance, if let's say I decided to buy a hosting service, and then Ken Austin comes to me and say, okay, I need to host a website. Then I say, okay, I've got a domain, I've got a hosting service. I can every month pay me, and then let's say I got that hosting service for like 270 rand, and then I can charge Ken Austin 350 rand. I can do that. You see that? So now this agreement here is called a back-to-back agreement. It's actually allowed, but now you also, it is within your right now to go back to the hosting company and tell them that, guys, I am reselling your services. So I'm acting right now as a middleman. So I'm managing other people's websites. So and then they're paying me for managing their websites. It happens because other companies don't have time and they don't have IT departments for them to be doing all that thing. So they need other people to do that for them. You see, so now, and then they're talking about the key elements or the key agreements there that come with a hosting agreement there. One is the specifications of the services to be provided. Those need to be very clear. The specifications of the resources, also these have to be clear. So services provided, like you saw that you've got hosting services, email hosting and things like that. Resources, we're talking about things like capacity, bandwidth, processing power, things like that. And then limitations to the kinds of content that a customer may submit for hosting. Also, a data processor clause in respect of personal data, you see, warranties and the identities and the responsibilities of the customer and all that. So all those aspects, they should be there in your hosting agreement.
Yes.
These are aspects that have to be touched there. So now on this point here, this is where I'm actually stopping today because this is the end of the outcome of the third outcome before we move on to specific outcome number 4. So we're stopping here today. So after understanding, now we understood the elements that had to deal with, for instance, let me do this. See that we're talking about, just continue from yesterday where we talk about the copywriting, data protection, email marketing, disclaimers and things like that. And then we also spoke about web hosting and its elements there. Some of the most important thing, and you guys saw an example of how literally you host a website and things like that. So now, do you have any questions regarding the stuff that you have actually covered so far?
Hi, sir.
Hi, Nomfundo.
Sorry,
Is it
sir, I could
Nomfundo or
not raise my
Nomfundo?
hand. It's Nomfundo.
Hi, Nomfundo.
Hi, sir. So while we are creating the website, is there any way we're gonna get to a point where we buy the domain, like when we're creating our website?
No, I'm not gonna ask for that. That is up to you. If you want to create a domain for yourself, that is up to you. You can do that on your own. But for MENA, what I need to see is code, actually. I don't want to see a website being hosted. I just want to see your code. That is what is important to
We
me.
won't take it that further.
No,
We're only
no.
gonna code and apply.
Yeah, we're only gonna code and just run a version of your coded website on your browser, and then you're
Yeah,
gonna
on
zip
the
the
internet,
folder.
everything.
Yeah, and then you're gonna zip the folder and upload that folder that you have zipped, or that has got everything inside.
Okay, sir.
Okay. Any other questions, guys, or no more questions? Okay, I have a question then. If you guys don't have a question, should I ask my question?
You can ask, sir.
Do I speak too fast?
So who said you speak too fast?
No, it's something that just came from from my head. Like I feel like I speak a bit fast sometimes. So I don't know if you guys can follow when I'm speaking at times.
Sir, can I be honest with you, ne?
Yes, please.
This is a learner to her teacher, a lecture, ne? Sir, I can follow you perfectly. Besides the whole network, everything is fine, but it's the way you are teaching, I can follow, ne? But I feel like you're not opening for engagement sometimes. And I know sometimes when you ask for questions, people are not responding, but I would prefer lessons where at least there's an engagement part, like a bit of engagement there and there. And I see that you are trying to open that gap. That can it be more and more like, can we engage more with you so that it's not just you reading everything and then on the last minute it's our input, like in between the lesson, can we just also engage with you as learners?
Okay. All right. I hear you. Okay, it's noted. Then I'll try to do that. I'll try to do that. Because the thing is, most of the times, you guys, sometimes you'll be like, I'm talking to a train, just talk, and then you guys are just quiet and ask anything, and you guys are just quiet until I start naming names. But it's noted, Mfundo. I hear you. I will try to be as what's the word? Inclusive as possible. And thank you.
Sir.
Thank you. Anything else, guys? Or anything that you feel like I should improve on in any way? Okay. If there's no further questions, we'll meet again tomorrow. So you guys have an awesome day, and thank you, Busi. You guys have an awesome day. We'll meet again tomorrow, and don't forget, next week we're starting on our HTML. So which means tomorrow we're just finishing up on the e-commerce part, and then before we move on to the other modules, there just going to finish up on the e-commerce part there, and then from there, then we can actually, we can actually proceed and start HTML, because we need to cover a lot on HTML. Okay, guys. So again, have a good day. We'll talk again tomorrow.
Hi.